Hey there, pirates! Welcome aboard the Anime No Me channel. The recent events in the One Piece manga seem to have revealed the greatest mystery surrounding Luffy's father, the real reason why he is the most wanted man in the world. And I will show you this in today's video. I hope for your support to help our crew win, and to do so, you just need to click the thumbs up button, leave a like, and subscribe to the channel. By doing this, you will win an incredible devil fruit, so just comment which fruit you want. Guys, there is a strong possibility that the real reason Monkey D. Dragon is the most wanted man in the world is directly connected to the God Knights and his refusal to join them. If Loki was invited and refused, maybe Dragon went through something similar. The world government doesn't only pursue military threats, but also those who challenge its divine order. And from what we see in the recent events of One Piece, the connection between the Tenryubito and the God Knights is becoming more and more evident. In chapter 1137, Gunko makes it clear to Loki that entry into the Holy Knights is a privilege that can't be obtained merely by desire. If the Tenryubito truly see the God Knights as an extension of their divinity, then the refusal of someone powerful enough to be invited wouldn't just be seen as a rejection, but as a direct affront to celestial authority. The fact that Loki was invited suggests there is some special criterion for this selection. Maybe Dragon was one of the first names chosen, and his refusal became the catalyst for his worldwide notoriety. Chapter 1138 gives us another piece of the puzzle. Shamrock mentions that Shanks has been to Mary Joyce, but chose to remain in the filthy underworld. This implies that some individuals are given the chance to ascend to something greater, but few accept. If Shanks refused this opportunity, it strengthens the idea that a similar proposal may have been made to Dragon. However, there is a key difference. Shanks seems to have been left in peace after his choice, while Dragon was placed at the top of the wanted list. What changes in this scenario? The answer might lie in how Dragon handles the world. If he simply refused the offer and went on with his life without interfering, maybe the world government wouldn't pursue him so relentlessly. But Dragon didn't just refuse, he founded the Revolutionary Army and began acting against the very system the God Knights represent. He didn't just reject the proposal, he declared war on everything it symbolized. What if Dragon had accepted? He could have been one of the world's supreme leaders, with access to the true hidden power of the Tenryubito. This leads us to an interesting point. Why would they invite Dragon? If he were just an ordinary revolutionary, it wouldn't make sense. But Dragon isn't just any revolutionary. He is Garp's son and possibly someone with a past more connected to the secrets of the world government than we realize. There's a chance he possesses special blood, something that qualifies him to be among the gods. Maybe he has a lineage as powerful as Loki's, which would explain the attempt to recruit him. Or perhaps Dragon knows the true origin of the Tenryubito and the God Knights, something that would make him a target to be silenced. Another curious point is the relationship between the God Knights and the Celestial Dragons. Shamrock and Gunko show disdain for Loki, treating him as an inferior creature, yet at the same time offering him an opportunity to become a deity. This indicates that the God Knights are not just a military force, but something beyond that. Maybe they are those who ensure the purity of the Tenryubito lineage, or even those who decide who can ascend to that position. If Dragon refused this ascension, then he didn't just become a rebel, he became a traitor to the very concept of divinity that the world government preaches. If we look at how the world government treats its enemies, we see a brutal difference between someone who simply causes trouble and someone who becomes a true symbol of resistance. Pirates can be hunted, but they are accepted as part of the game. Revolutionaries are another story, and Dragon isn't just any revolutionary arts, he is the personification of the greatest fear of the Tenryubito. If he were just a rebel leader, the world government would have already dealt with him the same way they dealt with O'Hara or any other isolated threat. But Dragon remains free and active, which means there is something about him that prevents the world government from simply eliminating him. What could it be? If Dragon has a secret that directly threatens the authority of the Tenryubito, maybe it's something related to the lost centuries' history or the very existence of the God Knights. Maybe Dragon knows something that could dismantle the entire structure of the world. And what if he already knew the truth before even forming the Revolutionary Army? That would explain why he never tried to directly attack the Tenryubito. He is waiting for the right moment to expose what he knows. Monkey D. Dragon's refusal to join the God Knights is not just a matter of disobedience or resistance to an offer of power. It is a decision that triggers a series of events directly impacting the stability of the world government. Dragon didn't just reject the ascension to a divine position, He became the personification of an insurmountable obstacle to the idea of absolute and unquestionable power that the world government seeks to establish. This act of refusal is not something that can be ignored, for by making this decision, Dragon not only broke with the God Knight system, but also challenged their entire structure of domination. The God Knights do not merely represent a select group of individuals chosen by the Tenryubito to ensure the continuity of their dominance over the world. They are, in reality, the defenders of the established order, the idea of a divine and unquestionable elite. They are the face of oppression and absolute control, and their purpose is to ensure that the status quo, in which the Tenryubito are considered superior beings worthy of ruling, is maintained. When Dragon refused the proposal to join them, he wasn't just saying no to the offered power, but was directly challenging the system that the God Knights represent. Therefore, the relationship between Dragon and the God Knights goes far beyond a simple refusal of a power offer. This refusal is a milestone that defines Dragon's position as the main antagonist of the world government. Dragon's revolutionary nature goes beyond his acts of rebellion and military attacks. He founded the Revolutionary Army, which aims to overthrow the world government and its control structure. But the most important thing is that Dragon is not just fighting against the world government. He is fighting against the very idea that a divine class has the right to subjugate the masses. When creating the Revolutionary Army, Dragon directly positioned himself against the fundamental pillars that uphold the world government, which include, among others, the Tenryubito and their God Knights. And this is what truly makes him the greatest threat to the world's stability. The Revolutionary Army is not just a group of armed insurgents, it is a force aiming to dismantle the idea of divine authority, a force that is attacking the very concept of a natural hierarchy between humans and the Tenryubito. For the rulers of the world, this is an existential threat. The God Knights are not just powerful leaders, they are the embodiment of an ideology that establishes the supremacy of one group over all others. And Dragon, by founding the Revolutionary Army and actively opposing this system, is not just a physical threat, but a philosophical one. He is the living proof that a revolution doesn't only need to destroy power, but can also destroy the ideological foundations that sustain that power. By refusing to be part of this divine order, Dragon demonstrated that a radical change in thought and social structure is possible, something that the world government cannot allow. The most interesting thing in this context is realizing how Dragon's presence and his revolutionary movement have been a constant source of destabilization for the world government. Every action taken by Dragon, every step made by the Revolutionary Army, is a constant reminder that the idea of absolute and unquestionable authority is not invulnerable. On the contrary, it is fragile, and its power is sustained only by oppression and fear. Dragon, then, is not just an enemy of the world government. He is a symbol of a resistance capable of overthrowing not just a regime, but the entire idea of a system based on the oppression of one group over others. Furthermore, the idea that Dragon may have privileged knowledge about the darkest secrets of the world government and the God Knights adds another layer to his threat. If Dragon knows something that could destroy the facade of divinity and superiority of the Tenryubito, he is not just a revolutionary leader. He is someone who holds the power to expose the truth behind the entire power structure that keeps the world government in control. This is not something the world government can allow in any way, as it would mean not only the fall of their power, but also the disintegration of their legitimacy. Dragon's true threat does not lie only in his revolutionary army, but in what he represents. He is the bearer of the idea that people have the power to change the system, that there is no natural order that must be followed, and that the Tenryubito are not gods, but mere humans who imposed a false notion of divinity on the rest of the world. And this is something the world government and the God Knights cannot accept. They need to maintain this order of oppression, and anyone who challenges this idea, as Dragon has done, must be destroyed. This also raises the question of why Dragon has never been captured, despite being the most wanted man in the world. The world government has the resources, military strength, and intelligence to hunt down any enemy who represents a direct threat to their regime. So why is Dragon still free? Perhaps the reason is that if he were captured, his death or imprisonment wouldn't solve the central problem, the ideology he represents. Dragon's fight is not a simple physical one. It is an ideological fight, and killing Dragon wouldn't kill the idea of revolution he represents. On the contrary, his death could even become a martyrdom, turning him into an even stronger symbol for the opponents of the world government. And as mentioned earlier, the true key to understanding Dragon's status in the world of One Piece lies in his connection to the truth behind the God Knights and the secret history of the Void Century. If Dragon Dragon has knowledge of this history, or if he has a deep understanding of the events that occurred during that period, perhaps even related to the origins of the Tenryubito, he might be the only person capable of exposing to the world what really happened. If he knows what the Tenryubito tried to hide, this would forever change the world's perception of them. Finally, Dragon's figure as the most wanted man in the world is not just about his resistance to power, but also his ability to challenge and expose the central idea of divinity and authority of the Tenryubito. He is an existential threat not because he is the leader of a revolutionary movement, but because he is the bearer of an idea that could destroy the system the Tenryubito imposed on the world. By refusing to ascend to the God Knights, Dragon not only rejected power, but also challenged the very foundation of the world order. And this is the real reason why he is the most wanted man in the world. He is the symbol of a resistance that could bring down the world government, and perhaps even the idea of absolute power that it represents. That was today's content. We hope you liked it and want to share your opinion on the subject. Don't forget to share the video, give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care and stay amazing.